Alright. Ladies, gentlemen, and gamers, welcome back to patch 10.21. We're getting up there in the patches. We're getting closer to preseason, which should be very fun to go over. I don't even know how I'm going to do that. But anyway, patch 10.21. Until we get to preseason, I'm assuming that all the patches leading up to that are going to be pretty useless slash they don't fucking matter. So Halloween is coming up though, so we do have some Halloween skins coming out, I'm pretty sure, but I actually don't even remember. All I can remember is my rage for the Seraphine skin that's coming out after this patch. But anyway, let's get into it. There's Spook in the Air, Pumpkin and everything, of course, Pumpkin Spice, and World's Pick'ems and Our Hopes. I have fucking done terrible at those. There's another light patch to keep the gears running smoothly through championship and the end of the ranked season. Like I said, pretty light patch. Okay. Focus here is to maintain stability and balance. Okay. So, we have a lot of skins this patch, ironically enough. You can't see them, so I'll probably read them out. We have... Gotta fucking squint my eyes real quick. Pumpkin Prince Amumu, Bewitching Elise, Little Devil Fizz, Odyssey Karma. Oh yeah, the Odyssey skins are here. Odyssey Aatrox, Odyssey Sivir. Yeah, it's Odyssey Sivir. Odyssey Kha'Zix, Odyssey TF, and Hextech Kassadin. Overall, I mean, I'm really happy with the number of skins. We're getting like 9 fucking skins this patch, none of which I will use, but it's like 3 different skin lines. We have Bewitching skin line, Odyssey skin line, and another Hextech skin for those hard-earned gems that I have like, what, 23 of or some shit at this point. But yeah, pretty good skins. I like how they're advancing the Odyssey lore. The lore in Odyssey is, Caitlyn and Zed are basically just consumed by Aura. Sona's a Templar. Aatrox got consumed by the aura, but he doesn't want it, so he wants to get a Templar to remove it for him, and he thinks Karma could do it, and Zed was Karma's wife. So yeah, pretty cool. And all the skins, from what I've seen, are pretty decent. Okay. Aphelios. I swear to God. I feel like they're gonna nerf him. I think he needs a buff, but I feel like they're gonna fucking nerf him. Nerf him. If they nerf him, again... he's just a non-champion. Like, I have not seen Aphelios played in so long. He still does pretty decent mid to late game. His late isn't as good as it was because of the armor pen, obviously. But he's still pretty decent to play. It's just his early game, I feel like, is kind of ass, and he doesn't do anything until he ramps up with items, which is some ADs that are just bad now. Scaling ADs just don't do that good. So I really want to see him buffed, but Riot just wants to give him the stick up his ass. So let's see what they're going to do. Okay, here we go. Passive lethality increased. Oh, wow, okay. R Calibrum, additional mark damage increased. Severum heal increased. Gravitum root duration increased. What the fuck? Infernum splash damage ratio increased. Crescendum, additional chakrams return increased. What? We aren't seeing Aphelios on the world stage, so it's time for us to take a moonshot at propping him back up for all other levels of play. We give him extra oomph on the ranking of his lethality and sharpening the strengths of his various ultimates. Oh, these are just on the ultimates? Oh, this is ass. Okay. So the lethality is going up by... like 6? I mean, it's something. It's not really that great, but it's something. Moonlight Vigil, the 20, 70 to 100. Severum heal, 100 more. Gravitum root. Wow, 1.25, big difference. Infernum splash damage, 85. 3 to 4. Does this really do anything? No. I think his ulti is so shit that even if you do manage to land it, of which is still very hard to do for an ultimate ability, you really... it's not going to be the deciding factor in any fight. It's going to feel better to use, yeah, but it really doesn't matter. Like, honestly, it really doesn't. Okay, it matters a little bit. I'm not going to say it doesn't. It matters, like, decently. But it's like... I guess this is a step in the right direction, but it's really not that big a deal. This is like an okay change. I like it, but it doesn't really help anything. Okay, so Camille. So Aphelios is still kind of ass. Camille. What do I think of Camille? I think she's pretty bad. I mean, the only bad thing is, well, there's two things. One where she's bad and one where she's good. So she's bad because I don't see her played almost at all. I haven't seen Elise in so fucking long, so she's bad. But the other bad thing is she's only played in Worlds, which means they're gonna probably fucking nerf her because they want Worlds to be like cool. So I don't think she's deserving of a nerf, but I think she's gonna get one. Camille is one of the strongest and most prevalent top laners in elite play. La la la. So we're pulling some power out of her split pushing and sustained dueling potential. E hook shot. Bonus attack speed. Wait, what's changing? Oh, I thought that was 80 still at the end. So it's 80 to 60. That's a big chunk. 20%. You'll feel it. Camille players will definitely feel it, but I feel like if they really want to like hurt Camille, they should take out some cooldown of the E2. I feel like her E is always up, so she always has access to dueling you. And then if the duel goes on too long, where you can't even kill her because she's what is it called, a juggernaut or whatever, she can just get out scot-free, and it's super hard to fucking get her. Like, her ability to engage and disengage from fights is really, really good, and I think that needs to be fucking hit. But that's not being hit, only the other half of the thing is being hit, which is the attack speed, which is just the dueling. I still think she's a decent dueler, but you need to really make her choose, okay, what am I using the E for, to go in or to get out? Like, you should have to make a choice for that. Other than that, I think she's pretty shit. I mean, like I said, I don't see her at all, like at all, in my ranked or any games. Maybe if I've seen her once or twice, but even then she was shit. So, even though Earth, you can't really tell if a champion's good or bad, but I think she's shit, and this definitely does hurt her, but I want to see some cooldown off that E. Cork. What do I think of Cork? Okay, this is kind of where I'm going to make an educated guess. I don't know what the Chinese are doing, but I'm assuming they're abusing him, because when I think of Corki, I think of Secret Sleeper OP. He's super fucking good. He has a pretty safe laning phase. Decent damage that ramps up incredibly high. Armor and MR shred. Teamfight engage. A disengage. And just damage and poke. Like, he's insane. I think Corki is so fucking good. It's just he's a little boring and his early game is safe, but it's not that good. But regardless, I think Corki is super good, and I'm assuming the Chinese are abusing him. Or the Koreans. But I'm not sure because I'm not watching, pro play that much anymore. NA got fucked, so I really have no interest in Worlds anymore. But anyway, I'm assuming they're going to nerf Corki. What are they saying? They're buffing him. Corki's early game makes it hard for him to stand up to other mid laners. Like I said, his early game is safe, but not good. Giving him a small boost to help him take off a little faster. So the cube phosphorus bomb. 0.5 to 0.7. That's pretty good. That is a pretty decent change. 0.5 to 0.7. That's like what? That's almost a 50% increase. Almost. I mean, it is bonus damage ratio, but again, this helps him at all stages of the game, including the early. This is a great change. Will it make Corki mid a little better? Maybe. I mean, if you land the Q, yeah, but the Q isn't too easy to land. But this is a good change. I welcome this. I like this. Corki mid is slightly better. Graves. What do I think of Graves? I think Graves is starting to see play again a little bit. Maybe from what I saw in pro play, I think they played him a little bit. And in solo queue, a little bit more, I would say. I'm seeing Graves. He's still not where he was, nor do I think he should get to where he was. But I still think he needs a little bit more buffs. E bonus armor decreased. Wow, okay, I was just wrong, I guess. Graves' combination of clear speed and durability have made him a prominent elite jungle pick. Well, this is always what happens. Riot will always touch his E. I don't know why they like his E so much, but this is the main thing about Graves that needed to be changed. At first, it gave him armor and MR, and then they took the MR away, and now they're changing it again. I feel like they changed the armor value so many times, and they changed the E so many times. It's like crazy. Okay. Reducing some of his innate tankiness so that Graves is more punishable when he missteps. Okay, I agree with that. So, innate tankiness. So, they're nerfing the E, but they're talking about innate tankiness. So, here's what I would have changed, right? This is if Graves missteps. So, what I would have done is I would have decreased his base armor, which not only hurts lane Graves. If you play that, you're a fucking scumbag. But I would have made it so you actually had to path correctly and use the E smart, or in a very... God, that sounds like not proper grammar. You would have had to use the E in an intelligent way. So that way, if you don't know what you're doing, Graves, you're kind of fucked, but if you do, you're okay. They should have reduced his base armor and then either left the E the same or buffed it a little bit. But them just straight nerfing the E is like, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I personally don't want to see Graves doing too well, because I hate Graves, but I do feel bad for him. He's a shell of what he used to be, kind of. But he's not bad. How much are they reducing it? 18 to 22? I mean, you have to remember, this stacks, too. Like, his bonus armor stacks, so... I think it stacks, like, what, 8 times? So overall, you're losing like 16 armor late game. It's not that big a deal, but I think it's fine. He shouldn't be like a omega tanky person from physical damage, but you kind of took away the MR, so... I mean, I don't even know why Graves should be tanky in general. You know what? This is a good change. Fuck this. This change is fine. I don't know why a fucking gun pirate man should be tanky anyway. He's a damage dealer assassin, come on. Hecarim, what do I think of Hecarim? I think they overbuffed him in a huge way, tuned it back, you know, last patch and the patches before that, and he's actually seeing play. Ironically enough, I think he's in a great spot. I think he's in a pretty good spot, if not a little powerful, but Hecarim hasn't seen the light of day in forever, and I think Hecarim is a super cool and fun to watch pick. I think he's really good. And I think right now he's in a really good spot. And he's super good. Hecarim players must be happy. And I hope Riot isn't going to touch that. I hope they buff him in some way, but I don't think they will. E base damage decreased. Bring down some of the burst from the speeding stun. Okay, that's fine. They don't want him to do as much like E fucking, since he has more move speed on it. Which is fine. I can understand that. It still scales with move speed though, so that's fine. So base damage goes from... 155. Okay, so it ramps up too. I forgot about that. They're shaving like 20 off of it late game. And then 10 off the bit. Yeah, this is fine. This is a tiny change. This should be fine. Hecarim should be fine. Karma. What do I think of Karma? Honestly, I always say this. I think Karma's shit. I think she's a jack of all trades, and her biggest contribution, the biggest thing her character can ever do, is just AoE shield the entire team. Or AoE give them move speed. That's it. I think her poke is decent. I think her shielding's decent. I always say this. I think she's a jack of all trades enchanter support. Like, she's not shielding as much as Janna. She's not disengaging or engaging as much as anyone else. She does all of their jobs shitty. And I personally don't like her. Because it's very hard to play her because of this. And a lot of people don't know how to. So, I think she has to get a buff. Come on. Like, I mean, I personally don't want to see her get buffed because I don't want people to play her, but... Alright, you're gonna have to wait. I'm busy right now. But I hope she gets a buff just for the character's sake. What are they doing? Mantra cooldown refund for abilities increased later. Mantra's cooldown refund for basic attacks now flat. R cooldown decreased. Huh? A new mantra for Karma to channel her mantra more often. So this is just a straight buff. We're increasing the payoff for dishing out damage so Karma can optimize access to her mantra. Mantra cooldown refund for abilities. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know how Karma fucking works. I know her Q is like the poke. I think her W is the shield and the E is the root, I think. I'm not too sure though. This is the only character I think I've almost never touched. I think I've played her once or twice. Launcher cooldown refund for basics 1.52 to 1 at all ranks. Okay, so that's just a straight nerf. Interesting. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2.3, or 3.54 to 5. And you're getting it earlier too. So they really are pushing for Karma to just spam. Which, again, I don't think she pokes too well, but hey, fuck it. And the mantra cooldown is just going down. Okay, so they just want you to spam more and get more Rs. I think this plays very well into her kit. I think being rewarded for hitting abilities and then just having your ultimate, which, you know, augments your abilities, makes them better, up more often is great. Because not having an ultimate, it's similar to the Udyr situation in my eyes. It's like Udyr's ultimate isn't an ultimate. Her ultimate is a step above that. It's a pseudo ultimate. It only like modifies her abilities in like a shitty kind of way. Not as much as Heimerdinger, but not as useless as Udyr, where it's an ability. Like, it's definitely way better than an ability, but it's not as good as an ultimate. It's like in the middle. It's like a pseudo ultimate. And having that up more often really just plays into the character and what she wants to do. She just wants to use it, and she's rewarded for, you know, playing well, and then she can use it more often. I think this is great. I think this is really good for Karma. I don't want to see Karma played, but this is a good change for her. Lee Sin. What do I think of Lee Sin? I hate Lee Sin. I don't care what he does. I think he's ass. Ironically, I think he should get buffed, but I don't want him to, and he's probably being played in World, so I hope he gets nerfed. Base attack damage growth increased. Okay, he's getting buffed. Fuck. Fuck. The monk could use more reliable damage to see games through. 3.2 to 3.7. I'm not even going to do the math for this. Lee Sin fucking blows. Nidalee. From what I've heard, Nidalee is like a fucking terror pick in Worlds, which is ironic. I think Nidalee sucks ass. Like, it's her, Lee Sin, and Kha'Zix that I think are the most useless fucking junglers on the planet. But if I had to pick between all of them, I'd pick Lee Sin because he has CC. But like, Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, and Nidalee, I just hate them. I think they're terrible. They do nothing. Unless they get massively fed early and you know what you're doing and you're skilled. And even then, it's hard. It's hard to do fucking work with them. Anyway, but again, like I said, in pro play, she's a fucking terror because pro play is all about the early stages of the game and who snowballs. So I'm assuming she's getting nerfed because she's always fucking played and she's giving the fear of God to people. So, bring down the jungle cats early, clear, and dueling. I knew it. Base attack damage decrease 61 to 58. This really changes nothing. I mean, it changes stuff slightly. You're not really, like, relying on the autos and stuff. I mean, you're weaving them in, but the main thing is if you land your fucking spear. Like, come on. That's the only thing that matters. This is a PP change. Very wiener. Okay, Pantheon. I see a huge fucking paragraph here. When I like look away from the champions I scroll to give my opinions on them, I see like how much text is there, and for Pantheon there's a lot. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I think Pantheon is Pantheon. Like, honestly, I don't think he's ridiculous. I don't think he's too weak. He's Pantheon. He's strong early, provides decent what would you even call it? Provides decent assistance to his team, decent supporting to his team, I guess, with the E damage blocking. You could just kind of stand in front of some stuff, and the W stun, which is, you know, old Pantheon. The ulti is in the engage. That's fine. I don't know. I think he's just normal. I don't know whether he should be buffed or nerfed. If anything, I'm gonna say buffed, because he feels weak, because Pantheon always felt weak after the past 15 minutes, and this one feels less strong, ironically, but that's just me. Q damage and critical damage decreased. Okay, I guess I was wrong. Damage and critical damage ratios increased. Maybe not. Mortal Will bonus damage ratio increased. Support Pantheon has spiked in popularity as a shield-swinging strongman who provides solid CC and durability. Yup. To balance his resilience, removing some power from his base damage to his AD ratios over time. Interesting, so they're making him weaker early, which is supposed to be his strength, and stronger later. This should weaken his early kill threat, yep, from low income supports, while padding the blow for some solo lane Pantheon to have quicker access to items. So this is an indirect buff to lane Pantheon because the ratios are getting buffed. So the sooner you get items, the better it is for you. Again, they're just buffing his late game. Is it by a big amount? 215 to 190. That's decent hit to his base. 115 from 1. Critical damage 2 to 2.3. That's pretty good. 1 to 1.15. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's something. He is going to be doing more damage, but is it when you need it? I think Pantheon's damage later on really doesn't fucking matter, honestly. Like, it really doesn't fucking matter. But anyway, moving on. I mean, this helps late game Pantheon, but it's late game Pantheon before this wasn't good, and it's still probably not. Samira. What are my thoughts on Samira? I'm glad they didn't really mess with her too much aside from the ulti damage, but ironically enough, I don't know how I feel about the ulti damage. Now, having some time to sit with it, here's what I think about Samira. With CC, she's super fucking strong. If you lane with her and you're not playing like a CC support champion, or she doesn't have a lot of CC to, like, you know, play off of, you feel it. You don't feel like that good of a champion. But if you can play safe, which is ironically, I think, the boring way to play AD, at that point, every AD can, like, you know, do good. But if you play safe and then look for your opportunity, she could go in and she could do a bit of damage. And her kit, aside from the 500 range, is pretty damn good. The AoE wind wall in particular. But ironically enough, I don't know why, but I feel like at a certain point in the game, right, unless you're doing AoE damage to people, like if you're doing a whole 4-5 team or 5-man ulti on the enemy team with your ult, it kind of becomes a question of, do you want to ult or do you want to auto? Because ironically enough, I think late game, everything included with attack speed and everything, your autos will actually execute the single opponent faster than your ulti will. But I'm not too sure. But that's what it's felt like. It's felt like because the ulti damage got a little nerfed, or maybe it's just her autos are too strong. Melee range. I feel like sometimes it's actually just better to auto than to ult. Because you'll get more damage out quicker. At least in a 1v1 or 2v1 scenario, maybe. It's weird though. Sometimes I feel like I was ulting, and I didn't get CC'd, but I died, and I could have done more damage if I just didn't ult, which I don't feel like Samira should have that at all. Her whole thematic and her whole kit is based on get the S, bob and weave until you get the S, then go in, ult, and everyone dies. But that's a really hard thing to balance around, and then if you make it weak, the character just doesn't feel right. Like, I'm not rewarded for going in with my ulti when that's what the character is based off of. It's, like, weird. But anyway, what do I think of her state right now? I think she's in an okay state. I think the 500 range is, and the CC reliance is really what, like, stops her most of the time. But she's not a bad AD by any means, and she kind of carries. She kind of carries super hard once she gets going. Like, there's almost no stopping her. But I feel like she does no damage, weirdly enough, still. But anyway, I think, to end this whole long ass thing, I think that Samira should get maybe nerfed with the passive melee auto damage, maybe. Because maybe they just didn't expect her to do as much as she's doing, and they toned down the ulti damage, and now they have to tone down the passive melee damage to keep it in line. Because I do not want to feel like I should be autoing instead of ulting to do more damage. That's really, like, bad, I think, for this character's feel. So I think she needs to get nerfed passive-wise, but let's see what they're doing. E cooldown increased, attack speed decreased. Okay, I can agree with that. Samira's at a place where her early game safety, I wouldn't agree with that. Well, actually, I would, never mind. And mobility is a touch too reliable. So we're bumping up her cooldown in a way so that she has to play more conservatively in the first stages of the game. Also trimming some of her damage so that all her all-ins are a little less potent. So the cooldown is going up to 20. Jesus Christ, she has so long cooldowns. I mean, the caveat on the E is that it resets. Like, Jesus Christ, early game, it's going to be fucking terrible. Samira feels infinitely better the more levels you put in her, because the cooldowns just go down so much. The Q cooldown is like what? 1.5 seconds. Early game it's like 5. It's like it feels so fucking bad. Later it feels so fucking good. Attack speed 50 to 40. They're cutting it by 10%. That's fine. I don't think she should be a wildly fast auto attacking champion. I think these changes are fine, honestly. Because the E is kind of meant to be either an engage or escape, and you do get a reset. If you didn't get a reset, I'd be a lot more harsh with this, but you do get a reset. You just gotta choose, am I using it to escape? Okay, I gotta play carefully until it's up. Am I using it to go in? Okay, I better hope I get the kill. It's fine. It's good. And then attack speed, she shouldn't have it in the first place, so it's okay to go down by 10%. I think this change is fine. I think Samira is still going to be the same as what I've said. Pretty decent, with the obvious problems. Trundle, what do I think of Trundle? I think Trundle's been played a lot in Worlds 2, so he's probably going to get nerfed. Does he need it? Maybe. I think he's a really strong character, depending on the game. I mean, when you play against Trundle, you're not rewarded for doing good because he takes it from you. So I think he might get nerfed. Passive heal from nearby enemy deaths increased and now smoothly scales across levels. That was a big issue I had with Trundle. His passive was so weird. Like, it's good, but it's so fucking weird. W cooldown now reduced with rank. So they're buffing him, wow. Smoothing out this Pillar Punching Prince's passive so he doesn't hit arbitrary power spikes at various levels, and throwing in a small buff at every level to help him bash down enemies. That's really good for lane Trundle, I think. In combination, because I think all Trundle went before this was jungle. In combination with an increase in his steroid uptime, we're hoping this will tip the scales in favor for macho Trundles to really win fights. That's cool. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 2 to 7. So they're buffing it too, from levels 1 to 18. That's weird. Okay, and then W, Frozen Domain. 15 seconds at all ranks to 15-14. That's huge. Wait, his W is going to have so much more uptime because you build cooldown items on him in general. You know, fucking Triforce and then probably some armor item with cooldown. So you get a lot of cooldown, and to have it from 15 to 11 just by leveling it, this is crazy good. This is super fucking good. You could take fights more often, and if you're in extended fights, which is Trundle you should be, you're going to be able to probably put down 2, maybe even 3 Ws. This is super fucking good. Trundle got a really good fucking touch up. Udry. I don't know. I haven't seen Trick's video, so I honestly don't know. I don't think he's that good. I haven't seen him that much. Watching Trick has made me biased. I think he's pretty decent. But I don't know. Maybe they're going to buff him again. I don't know, though. Aura total damage increased. Bird Udyr is still performing worse than Cat Udyr. Okay. So they kind of want to make all the stances viable. They're the 2 main ones, which is, you know, Phoenix and Tiger. So it's going from 240 to 300 over 4 seconds. That's a 60 damage buff. People will feel this. I think Udyr mains will definitely feel this change. This is a pretty decent change, actually. Like, if you're maxing Phoenix, you're going to feel it. And I think AP Udyr is, like, on the rise, too, in popularity because of Trick top lane. So I think this is an interesting change, and it'll definitely help Udyr out for those who max Phoenix stance. Pretty good. Runes. Finally, we're done with the champions. Runes. Nimbus Cloak. I don't give a shit about this rune. I almost never use it unless it's maybe on Vlad, but even then, it's like, I hate this rune. It's become to stifle, yeah, because it's stupid. Especially in the jungle. We're weakening its oh, wait. Oh, that means it's too good. Okay. There's a specific target on synergy with smite. Oh, yeah, because every time you smite, you proc it. Okay, for non-junglers and Vlad, this sucks ass. Oh no, for non-junglers and people who aren't Vlad, there we go, proper. This sucks ass, but for everyone else, for everyone, you know, Vlad and the junglers, it's good. Super good. They have to nerf it. Wait. I'm so confused. So they're reducing the duration, but they're giving it more bonus move speed later, or what? You know, whatever, I don't give a shit about this rune. This rune sucks. Worlds 2020 Clash. Okay, cool. I'm probably going to be playing and streaming that, hopefully. No one care. Actually, I kind of care about the Earth ones. Buffs. Okay. Percent damage. Rek'Sai. Yon. Oh, wow. Yeah, Yon kind of sucks. Nerfs Akali. Ashe. Huh. Nunu, Pantheon, Rameshan, Vi. What the hell? Volibear, Yuumi. Minus 30% healing. Jesus Christ. Plus more damage taken. Jesus. And then Zed. Okay. Bug fixes. I don't care. Oh, a lot of Elite Client ones here, actually. Yeah, that shit sucks. And here are the upcoming skins. Cool. Overall, some pretty interesting changes. Like, barely any ones that I thought were bad. Karma change was really good. Velios change is decent, I guess. Corki's okay. Pantheon's okay. Samira's whatever. Trundle's really good. Venus. Yeah, honestly, this patch is pretty whatever. 6.5 out of 10 marc merrills. I think I'm going to stick with that. 6.5 out of 10 marc merrills. I'll be back in about 2 patches to complain more about the Seraphine skin and how she's basically the discount Sona. But that's in 2 weeks, so hopefully. So I will be back then. Thank you all for watching this if you have, but no one does. So, yeah, that's it.